Welcome back. Today I'm going to attempt to solve some puzzles on chess.com. As many of you know, I recently broke 2400 in my puzzle rating on chess.com. But then in my last two videos I didn't do so well, and now I've had a gap of a week or more since the last time I tried to solve any puzzles. Today I'm just going to dive right back in. And yes, I would like to get above 2400 today, but my ultimate goal is to get better at chess. I've been working on expanding my checklist, which used to just be checks, captures, and threats, but now I've expanded it a little bit to ask myself, like, how much danger am I in? What's the material count? And here it looks like the material count is equal. We both have all our pieces and all our pawns. As far as how much danger I'm in, I would say not a lot. If they take this knight, I'll take back. It looks like they're probably wanting to push a pawn here, and then I would take this knight. Another thing that I haven't added to my checklist yet, but one of you had suggested that I start looking for, is tactical motifs. I'm not sure exactly what you meant by that, but what I'm taking it to mean is to look for the kind of things that puzzles usually involve, like a trapped piece, a hanging piece, pins and skewers, that sort of thing. But for this puzzle specifically, I don't see any of those things. This knight here isn't pinned because there's another knight behind it. This bishop is technically hanging, if I could attack it, but it looks like the only way I could attack it with this knight is to go there. Obviously if I attacked with the pawn, they could trade for the knight, and then we're equal. Their queen isn't hanging there. I don't see a path to checkmate. The best thing that I've come up with is this, but I don't see how that solves anything. Again, they can take with either knight. Probably, I assume they're going to take with the knight that's on d2, so that this one here is still protected multiple ways. And then, of course, it would be protected by the knight that's on e4. So that I don't see how that helps, but it does look like the best thing that I've come up with. So I'm going to play it, and then we'll find out what the answer was supposed to be and why, hopefully why, in the analysis board. But yeah, I've spent 10 minutes on this, and I have no idea, so... Okay, it was wrong. Let's retry. What was it? Was it here? No. Okay. Was it h6? No. Was it castling? Didn't think it was. Was it taking this? Oh, it was taking that pawn. Wait, why did they take with the knight? Well, now knight to e4 makes a lot more sense because the other knight's pinned, and I'll be putting pressure on the pinned piece. But that wouldn't have been the case if they had taken with the bishop. Oh, that's still wrong. I guess it's taking here now because my queen's in danger, and if I move my queen, I lose the bishop, right? They're attacking. Maybe that's why they took with the knight, because my queen's under attack. So I guess I have to take here. I took with the queen. If I take the queen, I assume they're going to take back because that's check. And then I don't know what I would play, but they have this coming. That's not healthy at all. Oh, the bishop's free. Oh, wow. Okay. Is that what the whole thing was about? Was the bishop? I talked about getting this bishop, so I did identify, I guess, a tactical motif of this puzzle. But taking this pawn frees my queen up to get the bishop. I was trying to see some other way to get the bishop. But this means they can't save the bishop right now because it threatens their queen, so they have to take that pawn. I thought they would take with the bishop, but they didn't. And now my queen is in danger, and as I said, if I do something like take the bishop, they get mine. So I get rid of my bishop in a way that's safe for my queen, and then when they take back and end that check, I get this bishop. Like so. Okay. I think I understand. I'm going to go to the analysis board and see what the problem, if they took with the bishop, does that mean I would have just gotten this? No, because my bishop still would have been hanging. After they played this, it's not a huge advantage. Not at my level. -2 is not that huge at my level. So I take this. Why don't they take with the bishop? It would have been almost as good. Taking with the knight was best, but this is what I would have expected them to do if I had taken with that pawn. But again, I have to take this knight because I'm threatening to take another one, so they need to take back now, probably with the pawn, and then I would have taken over here. Okay, but it was the hanging bishop that was the idea. I just had to solve this problem over here. Well, that took far too long, and of course I lost points for it. We're here to learn chess. Let's go on to the next one. They have attacked my queen. If I take their rook, it looks like they can take back. Then if I take that, it looks like they can take back. Then I could check, but then they go back in front of the pawn. Let's do the material count first before I forget. My opponent is ahead a piece, so it's probably not throwing away the queen for the rook unless there's a checkmate coming very soon, a forced checkmate, which it doesn't look like is the case here. How much danger am I in? I mean, my queen's in danger, but I think I could probably solve that just by moving it over. And then if they took the rook, I would take the rook, but that's a trade, and then I'm still down a bishop. Okay, it also looks like they can check me pretty quickly, but it's not quite a mating sequence. The only checks that I see are these two squares here with my queen. B1 and B2, both of those look bad. Or, you know, the rook, if I go there. This isn't a check, and I don't even think it threatens anything because, again, they would take my queen. I would take back. Let's see, is there some sort of mate if I check here? Now, if they take with the bishop, wait, maybe that's it. Maybe it's a queen sacrifice. Because if I get them to take there, then I can take with this pawn, which would be defended by the rook, and the rook would open up here with check. So let's look at the checks. If I check here, they would only have 2 legal moves. They would not be able to move the king or capture with the king. They would have to capture with the rook or the bishop. If they captured with the rook, I would take with the pawn, and that's a check, from the rook and the pawn. So the bishop can't take the pawn. The king would have to move in front of the pawn, and that's mate. If I check here and they take with the bishop, I take back with the pawn, and that's mate immediately. I'm pretty sure I would never find that in a game. I don't know what I would do, but probably move the queen over just a little bit. I'm going to play queen to b2. That was it. And then here, and then come down. This is checkmate. Wow. Okay. But, oh, and that wasn't even that low rated. Okay. Well, I'm happy I figured that one out. Let's go to the next one. Let's do the material count. I am down in exchange. I have a bishop for one of their rooks. So if I just trade right now, I have an undeveloped rook and an undeveloped bishop to their 2 rooks that are both free to move around. But sorry, isn't the rook just free? I saw that while I was talking, but I was talking about the material count. My opponent is up on material, but if I take the rook that I just saw, then I would be up on material. I still am undeveloped, but being up, I would be up a full bishop at that point. I don't know what their best move would be, but it looks like I would be able to escape with the bishop. Okay, but let's look. Do I have any checks? I do not, because I can't move these 2 pieces currently, and that's not a check, and that's not a check. Okay, so no checks. My only captures are these 2, and it's far better to take the rook, I assume. Although, no, wait. What if I took the rook and they just pushed this pawn? Then my bishop's never getting out. Yeah, it is. If they push that pawn, I would just come up here to g2, and they couldn't come closer, and I would get out. So what do they play if I take the rook? They get their king out here so that they can aim at it, but then I just run away with my bishop, maybe to here, so I block the advance of their d-pawn. Okay, this one seems easy, so I'm assuming there's a catch. That's why I kept wondering, is there a way for them to trap my bishop? But I don't think there is. Now, if they tried the thing with the pawn, and I came up to g2 trying to come out this way, but they put the bishop down, then I would just take the bishop, and then I would be up a full bishop. Even though mine are undeveloped, I think against that one rook I would be okay. Maybe. I'm going to take the rook. Okay, I waited too long for that. Well, this is the only thing that makes sense now. Oh, and now I have to go to h3, don't I? If I don't, they're going to take my bishop. So I'm going to do that. Okay, I shouldn't have waited so long. I saw that pretty quickly, but all right. And I'm almost up to the point at which I started this video. Not quite. I don't remember what it was. Was it 74? 2374? I do have time to keep going, so let's keep going. Okay, material count. We each have a queen, we each have a rook, and they are up a minor piece. So that's where the imbalance is here. My opponent is up a minor piece. How much danger am I in? It doesn't look like I'm in a ton of danger. I mean, if I go down here and check, they can check me, but then I can get out. I assume the reason they put this knight here is to come around to attack my queen. That's what I'm assuming. Let's see, what are some tactical motifs that I could look for? This rook is not quite trapped, but it's fairly close to trapped, isn't it? I wonder if I couldn't bring my queen back here to e5, which points at the rook, but also points at that knight. I assume they would save the rook somehow, maybe by going over there, and then I could take the knight, take with the queen, I assume, and then I would take their queen, which is a check, and then they would have a knight and a rook to my rook and bishop, which would be even. So that's one. I mean, if that's how that plays out, then I could go back up that piece that I was down, which would make us even, right? I assume that's how that would play out. But that's just evening up a material. What if I take the knight first? I assume they would take with the queen, and then that's it. But that's my only check right now. I don't have any captures except for that pawn and that knight, and, well, I guess this knight and this pawn, but... Well, again, I paused for quite a while. That still takes up my time, but it saves time when I go to edit the video later, and I could not find anything at all. I don't know what to do. After I bring the queen here and they pull the rook over, which is what I assume they will do, because if they don't, I'm going to take the rook, I'm pretty sure. they pulled a rook over. I don't know what to do after that. I don't know if I'm supposed to take that knight just to even up our material, or if I'm supposed to try to chase the rook, but then it's going to take this pawn, and then I guess I can come up here and continue chasing it, and then it can run away, and then I can get that pawn, but not right now because the knight's guarding it. But my overall time is almost over, so I'm going to try it, and hopefully that's right. But, oh, okay, now what? I said if they did that, I could take the knight to even up the material, but again, I don't know if that's correct. But in the interest of saving time, I'll just do it. When it's wrong, we'll check on the analysis board and find out why. Okay, well, it was right, but I just take the queen and then they block the check with the knight. Wait, oh my goodness. Oh, I don't like the ones that I get right, but it's completely pointless to me. Like, that didn't help me at all. Obviously, we were down a piece and now we're even on material, but they're going to get this pawn, and then what do I do? I have just enough time to look, I guess, if it doesn't take very long. I'm still not sure I've got this one, but I was unsuccessful in getting my puzzle rating up. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, that's the same score that I started this video with. Thank you for spending your time here. Let me know what you're doing to get better at chess. I'll see you next time.